Gabo Quiros. I work for Inside Travel Group. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today to talk a little bit about how we as a company see all this big topic of sustainability, responsible travel, impact, care. There you go, Sarah, Mary. Morning. Morning, you all. Also, do want to thank TTG for organizing this fantastic initiative, fantastic thing. But look, today there's two things I want to talk to you about, which is how we approach and the things that we are doing currently as a business in terms of sustainability, but also very important a message, which is like how to approach this. We're gonna go through the presentation, which is gonna be probably like 8-10 minutes, and there's going to be some space for questions at the end. If you're not very familiar with us, we are called Inside Travel Group. We're made of two brands, Inside Japan and Inside Asia. Inside Asia takes you to Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Borneo, and South Korea. Just a little bit like a refresher on the story from us. The company started 20 years ago by Alistair and Simon, and they had a vision of from the beginning having a company that will have a positive impact to the places that we travel. We wanted people to come in and start building true connections with the locals, have a positive impact in the destination. And we developed this type of travel, which is cultural adventures, which is our style of travel. We pair sightseeing with cultural experience, and you get a slice of everyday local life. And this is how we say we get beneath the surface. And this is very important because this is one of the premises for us when it comes to impact. And it's really coming to understand the location. And we do that by having this super specialism two brands inside Japan and inside Asia. Um, and we believe that travel can be a force of good. And this is a word that you probably have heard all throughout the week. You heard in many companies. And to be honest, I'm originally from Costa Rica. And for me, as growing up in a very sustainable country and responsible country, for me, more companies that are on board with sort of ethos is fantastic. At the end, it's not where we travel, it's how we travel and who and how we are promoting this. Um, as a business, there's four things, and the people always ask us, "God, well, we always hear about inside Japan, we always hear about inside Asia, and your care and efforts to the locations, the places you go to. What are the things sometimes you're probably one of the things that the proudest of? What are the things that you want us to remember of the things that you do?" And there's four things here, and this is what you can see in the screen. The first one is that we offset 100% of the emission from our trips, but this is very important. This is one of those. We're not saying that offsetting and that is the right way to do. We need to reduce. We need to reduce. It's not about like, it's not about. I mean, burning and then trying to balance it out. It's trying to reduce. But right now, our approach to it, we're doing significantly more than many other businesses in the sense that we have said even the international flights that passengers are not booking with us. So you can book flight with us, we package the whole thing for you. But even if you don't book the flight with us, we come and offset that. So we're going beyond beyond many other companies in terms of approaching this. So 100% of our emissions gets offset. We give 5% back of our profits to different charities. That is a promise. That's something that is we care a lot about. I'm going to talk a little bit quickly about the charities that we support, but 5% goes back to reinjected in the destination and also in local charities. One of the new things that we implemented is 0% snow monkeys policy. And this has been a very controversial thing because there's a few things you go to Japan for. You go to Japan to see geishas, to see the shrines, for the food, and many people want to see the snow monkeys. This being one of those hot topics for us because if you're not aware of this about the hot springs, um, there are the macaws and the hot springs. You can find them all across Japan, but there's a couple of areas that you go to where you to spot them. It's become the center of the attention for people to spot them. And very recently, what have happening is that the rangers and the people who looks after the park where you can see the monkeys throw food into the hot springs for the monkeys to come in and jump in, even though during the summer, even though when it's 35 degrees, you jump in. Why? Just to take a picture of the monkey, just for you to take your Instagram photo. And this is a great example on how things have turned bad when you start using marketing as a tool. Sorry, you're so using this type of products or this type of experiences as a marketing tool. People, that's what they come for. They overplay these areas, and now people are doing that, and the monkeys start attacking also people, because when you don't feed the monkeys, they start seeing the people coming in, there's macaws, and they start jumping on them, and they start creating this really vicious cycle where pretty much the monkeys have turned into a circus of trying to just spot and take a picture on the hot spring. So we said no more. It doesn't follow our animal welfare policy, and we said no more snow monkeys. The other thing that we're always very proud is the local charities that we support. But this is not only on location, and we're going to talk about some of the location, but we also have charities that we support here in the UK. And for us, that's massive. For us, traveling, it is a tool, it's a force of good. And we even partnered up with a charity, the Family Holiday Charity, where we support these people. They are trying to help families that cannot go on holidays. They trapped in the summer holidays in the house. They have nowhere to go, and they financially help them to go and have a holiday. Um, and part of also one of the things that we are really proud of is our certification. And this is very important because it also is a topic, Gabo, how we know about greenwashing, Gabo, how we know that you care, how we know that you're doing the right thing, how we know. Always look for the certifications. In our case, we have two certifications, and we have signed the Glasgow Declaration of Climate Change. The Glasgow Declaration of Climate Change is a commitment to reduce the CO2. And a lot of the negative impact that we having as a tour operator or tour operators is the CO2, is a carbon footprint. So we have signed the part of the declaration to reduce our carbon footprint. We also are certified by Travel Life, which is a fantastic travel specific certification that helps you to make sure that you abide by really strict terms on sustainability, and as well B Corp. If you're not familiar with B Corp, this is not specific for travel. This is for many of the business. The most popular one is Patagonia or Ben& Jerry's. There's a lot of great companies part as well though, of B Corp, and these are our certifications. But I want to talk about three things that are very important for us and very close to our heart. And this in Japan. I want to give you three examples on great things you can talk to the clients when it goes to Japan for them to keep in mind. One is Tohoku, which is the area where the earthquake happened in 2011, 2012, 2011, 11th of March, where 20,000 people died. This is where Fukushima, the one of the catastrophes in terms of the nuclear plant, is not a concern anymore, but the whole area was completely destroyed. You can see the picture there on your left, completely destroyed. And we have created a trip that actually takes you to those areas to try to inject money into the local economy. We also work with PQ Wildlife Research Center. This is in Nagano, Japan. I don't know if you know this, but there are bears in Japan. There's black and brown bears. You can find them more in the northern island of Japan, in the Shirakawa Peninsula, just in the northern part. That's really where you can see. They're all across Japan, lesser in certain areas, but we work with a project that helps you to monitor the birds, to put in collars to stop the connection between the birds encountering humans. And the other one is in Kyoto. Kyoto became in the news very recently for the overpopulation that happened in Kyoto. Kyoto is not a very large city, but receive over 8 million passengers every year, and everyone comes to see the geishas and the temples and the shrines, and the geishas predominantly focus on one neighborhood. So I've created like a super population over tourism in Kyoto. And what we have done is that we encourage our travelers to come in and book private tours or book like sessions with the geishas instead of trying to spot them just walking in the streets, simply because this is one of the problems I've created in over tourism. And here's two trips that we always recommend that goes very well with the three things that I just talked about. We have Hidden Zen. This is a great trip. If you want to go to Japan, you still want to go to Kyoto, you want to go to Tokyo, but you still want to explore Japan out of the crowds, not being part of this over tourism program we have in Japan. This fantastic trip that takes you across the Japanese Alps, take you to the coastline, take you to see one of the amazing shrines and cities of Japan. And we have the Northern Soul as well. That this is the trip that takes you to the area where the earthquake happened. If you see there, we say Sendai, Sanriku Coast, and Hirasumi. Those are the areas where the predominantly the earthquake happened. So we take you there to spend some time to inject the local economy there. Um, Part of our promise as a business is to reduce our carbon footprint. We want to reduce our carbon footprint by 50% as part of our declaration. Um, and then we have a promise as well to benefit the local economy, where 100% of our small group tours will have a local community project. And there's two promises that we want to happen better. There is a topic here as well I want to talk about, which is always happens in the industry: is who does it better, who is more responsible, who is better at this. And this is one of the most dangerous things that can happen in the industry in terms of like who about creating this into a competition. And I want to give you an example of there are great companies out there. We are part of this collective, which is Travel by B Corp, where lots of brands are here. You can see Intrepid is part of them. You can see the TC Group as well, TTC Group, great companies there who wants to do a change in the world through travel. And one of the messages I want to talk about is that this is not a competition. This is not who does it better. And as travel agents, we do have a duty to be able to recommend clients what is right and what's not right, and try to work with companies that are trying to do something positive. And this is the thing I want to finish today, which is the duty to advise. This is some of the things that happens in Japan. The duty to advise, like a flight to Japan from Heathrow to Tokyo directly produce around 1.5 tons of CO2. If you have a stopover going on the way to some of the southern countries, from the line, the direct line that you can do in a non-stop flight, that will add over 50% of CO2 to the trip. Knowing those things and advising clients about these things is important. Things as well like the like elephant rides, and there are a lot of activity happening in Asia about elephant doing activities like painting and playing football, those things. Or for example, in Japan is a big thing. In Japan, like the thing of eating meat from cetaceans, from whales and dolphins is very active. So us as agents, it's very important that we advise that those are the things we need to do. We as a company, we don't recommend any sort of cafe where you will engage with any sort of animals, any from even the cat cafes or the owl cafes, any wildlife cafes, which are very popular in Japan. It's our duty to advise that we don't do those things. As well as in Kyoto with the geishas. Don't go trying to go to Gion trying to spot geishas. That's what millions of people do, and they have turned this into a circus. Like if the geishas were like this some kind of animal. We actually spent time talking to some of the geishas in the last few months to understand the perspective, and they feel completely disrespected, abused. They seem like they feel that this has become a circus. It's always our duty to advise as a business. We will advise you, and we invite our agents to advise to your clients the certain things which should change, and we should approach this with confidence or we're doing the right thing. um, this is what I got for you today, a brief, and I want to give like 5 minutes to be able to answer any questions, Charlotte. Any questions? If there's any questions, I will just spend a little bit more time I can describe a little bit more the process in Kyoto. If not, um, I will just finish with a message. If you like, great. Look, one of the things I want to finish with is okay, okay, great. Look, I just want to make sure about this, and is that there are many companies out there, and there's great companies doing great efforts to change how we travel. Um, what we're trying to do here, we want to do is to give the power for you as an agent to recommend what can be done. Like if you have clients who wants to come in and wants to go to Japan, you can simply recommend go to Tokyo, go to Kyoto, go and see it. But how is that you doing? How are you traveling? What other locations that you go? And this is some of the most important things to do. This is the duties that we have. It's like we have a duty as operators to work with the agents to educate on what is the place we need to go, and the agents have a duty to recommend and advise the clients over there. So we're happy. If you want to learn more about these two trips that have a really good positive impact in the destination, reach out to us and we can come in and talk about more in detail. And you can communicate this to your clients and give them more value. But I will end up here. I want to say that thank you very much from inside Japan, from inside Asia. Thank you for joining. Thank you for caring. And hopefully we can see you on the road soon.